Hello. Well, that was a weird look. Today is Thursday, September 20th, I believe. And I'm just going to check in with you guys, let you know what's going on this week. Of course, I had dialysis on Monday, and then on Tuesday, I got to go in and see my prosthetic guy, and he took a casting of my stump. They professionally refer to it as my residual limb. I call him Stumpy for short. Anyway, for short, get it? Ah, anyway, I make myself laugh. So, if I was a woman, my name would be Eileen. And if I was Asian, it would be Irene. That joke is so old. It's as old as Moses' toes and twice as corny. All right. Enough of the comedy. That's not what you paid for. So Tuesday, I had the casting done. Now they send it off for the company to make the socket in which my limb goes into. Then they send it back. I go in, we do a test fit to make sure that it's exactly how it's supposed to be. He can do some trimming and so forth. It's made out of carbon fiber. When I first get it, it will just be black, and if he needs to make any adjustments to it, he does. And then we send it back to be painted however I would like. My current one is skin color, beige, Caucasian, whatever. This time, I know, and there are some people that will have graphics put on their artificial limbs on their sockets, particularly people that have the thigh, their whole, above the knee amputations where they have a large socket. They can have, anything you want put on it, basically. Any graphic that you would see on a T-shirt or design, you can have them put on it, and they don't charge anything for that either. But once it's on there, it's on there. There's no changing it unless you want to try to paint it yourself. But anyway, so my current one is just skin color. But I was thinking about maybe going with some just simple dark blue, gray combination, like the Dallas Cowboy colors. No real words or anything like that. I'm not that fanatical. But I like those colors anyway. So that being said, that's what happens. Then they send it back, and he will attach my new foot, which I'm really excited about. It's called the Elan, E-L-A-N, and it's made in the UK, and it's really the forefront right now of artificial microprocessor hydraulic ankles and feet. This thing, what I have currently, is basically like a block of wood attached to a pole to the bottom of my socket. It doesn't move, doesn't really flex at all. It's rigid, and that can be really cumbersome when it comes to trying to walk normally and turn and walk on different terrains and things like that. So this thing kind of assists you in ways that you don't think of how your regular ankle and foot work in conjunction with the rest of your body. So there's a little period of time after I first get it that they have to program it, and then it can be fine-tuned. It's electrical, so it has to be charged. The charge will last 2 to 3 days depending on the use. You just plug it in at night like you do your cell phone, and and away you go. I already tested it. They had some representatives from the company here in Cedar Rapids, so it was a really good opportunity for me to talk to them about it. And after having it on for 5 or 10 minutes, it was almost like having my leg back. That's how close to normal it felt. So I'm really excited about getting this. All said and done, I'll probably have it within the next month, 3 to 4 weeks. So I will have my current leg that I'm using as a spare leg. They said I might be able to, if I want to, use it for showering or so forth, because right now it's not supposed to get wet, but if it is my spare leg, it wouldn't really matter, because it can dry out. The new one can't. It can get wet from like weather, but I can't submerge it in water. I can't wear it to take a shower or anything like that. So, because it is an electrical component, and they haven't come that far to make them waterproof yet. There are some people that have legs that they can swim with. I haven't really seen that. There's one leg in particular I know that is really considered a shower leg, and it is basically made all of plastic, and it's to allow you to be able to stand in the shower and not have to use a bench, which I currently use. So anyway, so that happened Tuesday, and then I was able to have a wonderful, spectacular dinner. And it wasn't the dinner so much that was spectacular, it was the company in which I had dinner with. I had dinner with 4 people that are very important to me, and I love them a lot. Tawny Pearlie and her twin children, Scarlett and Archer, boy and a girl. They are just the most adorable little things. If you look on my Facebook page, you'll see some pictures of them. They turn 1 this Sunday, September 23rd, I think. Yeah. So already 1 year. They were born while I was in Manor Care last year. And they're just precious babies. And then also Laura Pearlie, their grandma. Laura and Pearlie and I have known each other. It's 9 years this year. So happy anniversary. It's 9 years this month, actually. So anyway, so had a wonderful time. And then again, Wednesday, I had dialysis again. And I'll have dialysis again tomorrow. We are going to a birthday party for the twins on Saturday, which I'm really looking forward to. They I don't have any grandchildren of my own yet, from my daughters, and I'm not rushing them. Trust me, there's always time for kids. So they are my pseudo grandchildren. There's another one named Ember, and now Ember is 7, I think. I can't remember now. I'm trying to think, but you get old, you forget stuff. But anyway, she's a sweetheart, and has been a sweetheart in my life ever since she was born. So I love her to bits too. So I'm pretty sure she'll be there on Saturday. So anyway, and then starting Monday, same routine. So I wanted to talk a little bit about dialysis today. Myself personally, been in the healthcare field for quite a number of years. I'm a respiratory therapist. I have been one for close to 20 years. And I couldn't tell you much about dialysis before August of last year. I know it cleans your blood, yada yada. I learned some stuff in college and whatnot, but it wasn't, because I'm respiratory, wasn't really part of my job aside from something called fluid overload, which is what I personally experienced, which put me on dialysis acutely. So, how does dialysis work? Brief summary, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I don't want to bore anybody. There's two different ways you can do it. You can go to a dialysis center, and they will connect you via either a fistula, they call it, and you can Google any of the stuff if you're really interested. Or you can have a permacath in, which is a more even though they call it a permacath, it's a more temporary solution. Long term, if you're going to have it done in the center, they use a fistula. Fistula generally goes in your arm. Let's see if I can pan down here and show you my spot there. There's my spot, those two little holes, and there it is. So those scab over, and they use the same two holes. Sorry for the jiggling camera. Same two holes each time. One is arterial, one is venous, and the blood runs through the machine where it gets filtered to remove toxins, waste products, and also excess fluid. So the other way of doing it is you can do it at home, and you have catheter in your belly, and they implant this system in your belly, and you get connected to a machine at home. You do it every day, overnight while you sleep. So the way I do it is 3 times a day. Generally, most people go 3 times a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you have a spare day on the weekend to get through. Most people need it that often. That's how important your kidneys are. I've been told by some people that when or if they decide to stop dialysis, a lot of people will perish within a week of stopping dialysis. That's how quickly you can fail without your kidneys. So it's very, very important. Anyway, so the basic process is I go in, they weigh you to see what your current weight is. They have a dry weight, which is what they want you to be at with any fluid off you. And then they determine what your target is for the day. So they program that so the machine will know how much fluid to take off. And then the amount of time you're sitting in the chair being dialyzed is also dependent on the clearance of your waste products, which they determine by labs that they do once a month. So, if you have too much potassium, phosphorus, different things, they can determine you need to be there for 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm in there for 4 hours. So, and then when you're done, they weigh you again. Adios, have a great day. So I get up about between 5 and 5:30 to be at the center by about 6. My treatment time is scheduled for, I think, 6:30. I always try to get there early, so in case somebody misses or isn't there, they might possibly get me in a little early. And then I'm in the chair for 4 hours, and then once they disconnect me, I have to have pressure held on that site that I just showed you for me it's 15 minutes to make sure I don't bleed. Because number one, I am on warfarin, a blood thinner. I've been on warfarin for a very long time. I had a PE, a pulmonary embolism, a number of years ago, and they determined that I had a clotting deficiency in my blood, and I was going to be on warfarin the rest of my life at this point. So, plus, when you go on dialysis, they give you heparin to thin your blood so that you don't clot off in the machine or anything. So, once you've had your blood all cleaned and some of the heparin and so forth gets dialyzed also out, you have to make sure that you don't bleed to death which I have bled after dialysis. I couldn't tell you how many times, but that's why you wait, because they want to make sure it's not going to happen on your way home or after you get home. So, some people can wait 5 minutes and they're fine. I started at 10, couldn't clot off in 10, had to wait 15 minutes to make sure. And that's the process, pretty much in a nutshell. What do you do for 4 hours? Well, you can imagine there are little individual TVs set up on these arms that come down from the back of the chair, and cable TV. Put some headphones on, because you're sitting with with a whole group of people lined up on a whole line of people in front of you and then next to you on either side. And then you have whatever else you want to read, you want to try to sleep, listen to music, play games, whatever. I have my tablet and my cell phone that I bring. I play games on there, or look at Facebook, or check my banking, or do bills, or whatever, and watch some TV. I've been now for a long while watching two shows I hadn't seen in decades: The Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal. So it amazes me that The Price is Right is still on the air, but it's the same show it's always been, basically. And anyway, so that's what I do. I've tried to sleep. I have nodded off a couple times, but for some reason I just can't get comfortable enough that allows me to sleep. And I've stayed up all night, literally, so that I don't have to wake up at home. I just go to dialysis thinking, okay, I'm going to be beat tired and easily sleep like these other people do. Doesn't happen for me. So I've kind of given up on the idea of sleeping at dialysis. Now, once I get home, though, that's a different story. When I first started dialysis, I didn't really notice much difference in how I felt. I was in the care center at the time. They would come pick me up, bring me to dialysis, bring me back. It's usually around lunchtime. I'd eat lunch, go back to my room, and I might nod off, might not, depending on what was going on. Now, almost without fail, when I come home from dialysis and I lay down, boom, I'm out like a light, and I could sleep from, now I'll get home generally between 11 and 12 noon, and I can sleep from 6 to 8 o'clock at night. And that's even if I didn't try to stay up all night. So it's not like, oh, well, it's just because you were super tired. No, because there's times when I have slept, like I said, and get up and go to dialysis. But still, once I get home, boom, I'm tired, really tired. So it seems like it's gotten more noticeable the longer I've been on dialysis. Not sure if that's normal for other people or not. It's normal for me. So that's one of my concerns about trying to go back to work. I, as a therapist working in the hospital, I work 12-hour shifts, generally only work 3 days in a week. It doesn't have to be 3 days in a row. A lot of times I would work like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then have 5 or 6 days off, and in a routine kind of schedule, because I liked having all those days off in a row. Some people would schedule themselves differently. But now that I have to be at dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and I work nights too, so I'd work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so now, if I was to try to do that, I could work Friday night, then Saturday I don't have to, but if I work Sunday night, then I got to be back early to get in dialysis Monday morning. So and I'm not sure if I'd be able to handle that. Working 12 hours as a therapist, there's a certain amount of downtime. It's not like you're going, hell's bells the whole 12 hours. Sometimes I worked in the emergency department, so it really depended on the night and how things were going, and how busy it would be. But generally, as a respiratory therapist, generally, there's some downtime between treatment times. And like I said, when you work in an emergency room, it's a little different. When you work on the floors, you have scheduled treatment times. Things are a little bit more routine. Emergency room, like I said, you never knew what was going to come in. And one of the things I also did as part of the emergency department was all the EKGs. So anybody presenting with chest pain, they had to have an EKG done within the first several minutes of being there as part of our chest pain protocol. So, in the middle of lunch, in the middle of anything, it didn't matter what you were doing, boom, you could be interrupted and have to go take care of it. So anyway, so I'm not worried about so much about my leg, because I don't have to. If I went back to the ER, I wouldn't have to walk long distances, but I could be on my feet for quite a while, depending on if there's some code or something going on. But that's not what concerns me. It's my overall fatigue, because you have to be on your toes, literally and figuratively, in that environment. You have to be able to think clearly. Being tired and having fatigue, or, I pride myself in my career, in my work ethic. I've worked many years, worked many hours, tons of overtime. I mean, they would call me the overtime whore. If there was overtime to be had, I was signing up for it. And, it kind of became a joke, because they never really had to worry about shifts going uncovered, because Ernie was going to pick them up. So, but anyway, it's one of my concerns. I had to go through quite a bunch of hoops to get my Medicare and my supplemental insurance and so forth. And if I found out after trying to go back to work I couldn't handle it and had to go back on disability, I'd have to start all over again. So I got one angel on one shoulder saying, you want to work, you can do it, go ahead, go for it. Then you have an angel on the other shoulder going, dude, you've worked your whole life since you were about 12 years old when you had your first paper route. Well, I didn't really have a paper route. I sold newspapers at the New York State Fair. But anyway, you've been working your whole life. You've worked hard. You've had this situation happen. So be it. You're retiring early due to circumstances. I've been planning on retiring early anyway at like 62. So I had about 8 years left to work. And I was looking forward to working that long to, solidify my retirement. I had a nice 403B and 401k through the hospital. So, but this kind of sidelined me. So anyway, so that's my thoughts about going back to work. It's not that. Now, if I get a kidney transplant, game change. And I'm not currently on the transplant list. There's a number of things I have to get checked off my little list before I can be reevaluated. I went through the initial evaluation and they deferred me because there were a number of things that hadn't been completed yet, and they also felt my conditioning was not up to par, which they didn't explain. Anyway, I don't want to go into all that. So, currently not on the transplant list, but And as soon as you get put on and this is what I found out later on, as soon as you do get put on the transplant list, your wait time, and for kidneys it's 2 to 3 years, generally. Your wait time starts from the day you went on dialysis. So even though I'm currently not on the list, as soon as I do get put on the list, my wait time is counted back to August of last year. So it's already a year off that 2 to 3 year wait time, which is awesome. It's not, that time isn't held against you. So again, but the thing to remember is kidney transplants aren't the end all. Kidneys fail. Transplants fail all the time. I've talked to a few people that have had a couple transplants, and now they're back on dialysis. So, but the thought of getting a kidney and not having to go to dialysis and be able to travel or go back to work so there's still time left. I mean, if I decide currently right now to stay on disability, it's not the end all, So I don't want to, what's the term, pigeonhole myself into a, set situation like, okay, this is the way the rest of my life's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. So I'm optimistic. I'd love to get a kidney and love to be able to go back to work and feel normal. So that's hopefully the plan. We'll see how it works out. Every day is a new day, right? So, I don't know anything else much I want to talk about today. I just thought I'd pop on and give you a little update of what currently has happened. This is my new leg coming. That's exciting news and stuff for me. And, there was one other thing talked about going back to work. I'm considering actually going back to the hospital and trying to volunteer some. Try to stay connected a little bit. Might make me feel a little bit more useful. I really would love to volunteer in the ER because I really love that whole environment. So I'm going to go and talk to them and see what the possibilities are and I'll let you know what happens. So God bless you all. Have a great day. Keep your head up, chin up. Because when you put your chin down, you always get a double chin. See, that's why I grew my beard, so that when I was looking at the camera and so forth, you can't see my double chin. So, have a great day, and I'll talk soon. Bye.